whatever you want to use, leave it to me means the dog has not yet picked up something, they don't have possession of the thing, but they're going towards it and they're going to go investigate. You know, let them do not do that. Drop it if the dog already has something in their mouth and they want them to spit it out. So they can't be used interchangeably. The dog can't spit out what they don't already have, and they can't leave what's already in their mouth.
Right.
So you have to kind of think about it from that perspective. Which behavior do you want to assign to leave it? In this particular moment, what we're going to teach him, and the format of leave it we're going to teach him is when you see an object that we don't want you to have, when we say this word, we want you to avoid that object and bring your attention back to us, rather than spitting something out. So spitting something out is a different action, different behavior. What we're going to do is start on easy mode. We're going to get one treat, which is going to be a forbidden treat. Or a couple treats in one hand, which is going to be a forbidden hand, which is this one, because I'm left-handed. Or I'm not left-handed, I'm right-handed, and this side is holding things in balance. And this is going to be my rewarding hand. Hey buddy, did we trump you?
I don't have it. He said, no, she's still really scary.
It's just she's a little spooky. So I'm going to basically offer the forbidden hand and let him nuzzle at it and sniff at it. And as soon as he gives any movement away, from the hand, I'm going to work to the side. And so I'm not applying any words yet because he doesn't understand the action. We're going to wait until the action becomes consistently offered before we start adding the word. He's like, what if I talk? What if I yeah? Yes?
So just him immediately kind of stopping.
Yeah, I'm rewarding a cease of action.
Okay.
This is a hard concept for dogs to understand because you're rewarding inactivity, and everything that's taught them up to this point has been an action.
Right.
So they're like, must be a paw, must be nuzzle, must be paw, must be nuzzle, must be down, must be sit. I don't want any of those things. I just want my dog to step back away from the enticement of food. Yes. Yes. He's like, okay, got it, no worries. Yes.
I just learned that quick.
Well, yeah, they took it from terriers and herding breeds pick it up ridiculously fast. Yes.
He's like a centimeter away from it. He's like, I'm not touching it.
And what you might get is actually set back to her committee. Yes. So one of the reasons why I'm tossing the treat away is to encourage further movement backwards.
Okay.
Yes. Rather than rewarding right next to the hand, which is like he's gonna put him. You're gonna get a leave it, but he's gonna be like this the entire time.
Right.
Which sometimes, depending on what that leave it is, if it's a snake or something dangerous, you want your dog actually the right distance away from that. Yes. Okay, so now that we have repetition of walking over and not investigating the hands, offering a backup. Yes. Now we're going to start adding the leave it cue. Now this doesn't mean that he understands the action, so this is the hard part psychologically for us. Yes. Is that sometimes when we say it, we expect the dog to understand the entire action rather than just learning the paired association.
Okay.
So you have to be careful. This is a game of are you faster than a puppy? Yes. So now I'm going to start applying the word as he approaches the thing. Leave it. Sorry, I got distracted. Yes. Leave it. Yes. Yes. Correct. Add the words.
So when you're saying leave it at this point, is that just to have him hear the words and him not doing anything?
Yes, you're pairing up the action that he has already learned with now a cue to perform the action.
Okay.
So now we're narrowing down the criteria of when I say the word, you're going to get a treat for leaving that thing.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it's just any activity, any disinterest in this is going to be reinforced. Now it's only when I ask for it.
Oh, thank you.
Ready? Yes. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Yes.
Learn that quick.
Yeah. Leave it. Yes. Try to throw it backwards. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Yes. So now we start with an automatic starting to look towards the other
Right.
hand for the treat. And now I know I can move on to the next stage. The next stage is to open my hand slightly. Now this is where the are you faster than a puppy comes into play because you have to close your hand faster than the puppy can get it. which is why you really want to heavily reinforce leaving the thing on their own and this particular stage, really, or the previous stage, heavily before you move on. Because as you open the hand, the temptation to take the treat grows. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Yes. Good boy.
Wow, that's good.
Leave it. Yes. Now you're noticing I'm not using a word like take it. Yes. I'm gonna pause my thing for a second here. We'll leave those. So we don't teach a take it because oftentimes humans are very, very, very susceptible to patterns and routine. So oftentimes when we teach a leave it exercise, we have the dog leave it for anywhere between 5 and 10 seconds, and then we go, okay, take it. The dog figures out that timer really, really easily. They're like, oh, I leave this thing for 10 seconds, and then I can have it. The problem is, what if it's about to touch a brownie bag, or baker's chocolates and drop it on the ground, or rat poison the dog came across, or a snake, or something along those lines? That is a permanent leave it. That is not a leave it and then take it kind of opportunity. We do not teach a take it. If we're going to decide that thing is safe for our dog, we're going to pick it up and hand it to them. So what you might see me do is remove treats from the forbidden hand to toss to him instead of having him go and take the treat from the forbidden hand. The overall goal here is to teach that all reinforcers come from us, not from the environment, in case the environment is dangerous.
Okay, ready, buddy? We're gonna do the next stage. He said, okay, I'm ready. Leave it. Yes.
He's like, I'm not even gonna come close to that. Yes, good boy. I'm taking a chance to say it. Ready? Leave it. Yes. Leave it.
His little
Leave it.
face.
Yes. Leave it. Yes. He's whipping over his head towards my other hand too. Yes. Right. Leave it. Yes.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Leave it. Good. He's like, if I just give you a lot of space, does that also work? Okay, so basically your goal is to be able to hold the hand out and have him have no interest in going after these treats, no attempts to sneak past you. Leave it, good boy. And then you can either work in advancing the leave it exercise or adding an extra duration to the leave it itself. So like maybe you need to go grab a treat, maybe you need to go grab paper towels or something like that, or you need to go grab him, and it's going to take you time to get to him in order to remove him from the situation so that you can clean up or whatnot.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, sure.
So I have, whenever I feed him,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll get a big scoop, and I'll even wave it in front of his face.
Yeah.
But I say the word wait.
Yeah, so a wait is different than a leave it, and leave it is going to be more something that you're going to use in like real world context. Right now, we're only practicing in the hand to get the concept of avoidance down, and then we're going to start advancing to the next stage. So the next stage is going to be putting the treat on the ground as if it's something you come across on the walk. You could potentially use the word wait, but I don't know if the transition between the context is of being in, with food or with his food bowl in front of him is going to translate to the outside, to like a burger wrapper on the sidewalk.
The reason I ask is, am I confusing him by having wait for his dinner, but leave it?
I don't think
Is that
so.
not gonna?
I don't think so because they're two different actions.
Okay.
Behavior reinforcer we're getting here, while it appears to be the same, where he's holding a position. I don't particularly care if he walks around. I don't want him interacting with the thing I presented in front of him. That's a temptation. Whereas the wait is just hold the same position. He doesn't have to hold a position. He can walk around it. He just can't interact with this.
Okay.
So the criteria is a little bit different from his perspective. Hopefully that makes sense. Good boy. So now that we've kind of mastered, leave it. Good boy. That one was a little hard. We can start offering the hand open for longer periods of time. Leave it. Good boy.
That's good.
And you can also start to reward from the leave it hand or the forbidden hand. Leave it. Good. And the other nice thing about rewarding from the leave it hand, from the forbidden hand, is that this gets less and less and less tempting as you advance. So you start
Yeah.
really hard and end on an easy note. Very nice. A good thing to practice with the dog who's might be struggling a little bit. Okay, so next stage, and I recommend using one treat for this, not multiples, is putting it on the ground and putting your hand on top of it. Leave it, good boy. I'm going to lift up my hand a little bit so you can see, so from the camera's perspective, I'm essentially doing that. Leave it. Yes. And then again, the reinforcer is also being tossed or being handed to him. Yes, good boy. Leave it. Yes. And now we're gonna play Are You Faster Than a Puppy? Which is, I expose the treat, leave it. Yes. If he moves towards it, I'm gonna put my hand over it.
Okay.
Leave it. He's like, I
Come here, come-
leave it.
come- come
Good. And so I'm really pushing him. He's ridiculously smart. Yes. Not every puppy is able to do this. Leave it. Yes. Oh, that was a gigantic one. Good gravy. He's like, you're the
Whoa.
fan. It was just a little spooky, but whoa, that's
That
a
was a good one.
gigantic piece. We'll quench it for a minute. That was a nice jackpot for him. So yeah, jackpot can be a really big treat, or it can be multiple little treats. Leave it. Yes.
That was interesting that when you covered it up, he immediately looked at you. Like,
Yeah.
okay, now.
Yeah.
Redirect.
Isn't there going to be a
Good
treat?
boy. Oh, I almost caught it. And that's kind of the end goal, is we want our dog, when we say this word, to revert their attention back to us.
Yeah, that's great.
Good boy. And so I can actually reward with a treat in this moment. He's like, this cart thing is really spooky though. I don't know if I'm ready.
I have an air purifier that sounds very similar to that.
Oh,
It
yeah?
sounds all the time.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
surprised that he was kind of weirded
It may
out by
also
it.
be the fact that it's like up in the air and there's a
Yeah.
metal thing there. But yeah, so now that we're starting to move to the ground, leave it. Good. And again, this is a leave it. Good boy. Wasn't ready with my cookie. He's like, okay, where am I leaving? Leave it. Yes. He's making this look so easy. Yes, and so fast. Leave it. Yeah. Good boy. I managed to get that. I did not. Leave it. Yes.
And just having the hand near it is interesting.
Oh
because-
yeah. He's kind of understood the concept of like, oh, it's not worth pushing past because I'm not going to be able to get it. And it's more reinforcing if I don't get it. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. He's like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure about that?
Oh, so
Sure
brave.
about it? Just leave it.
Just a little bit.
Leave it. Yes. He's like, oh, just take it. Leave it. Yes. Cool. You see him do a wide berth? That
Yeah.
was really cute. He's like, okay. Leave it. Good.
He's like, Dad, you see this?
Good boy. Yes, good boy. That one was excellent. He didn't even go. He walked forward, looked at it,
Yeah.
and just chose not to. Okay.
Stop.
So I'm not going to push too much past this because I do want to answer some of your questions before we